Okay, welcome to JCE Connect. In the previous class, we were discussing about the some of the impurities that are present in the water, and they are very dangerous to the water body as well as the human health also. And finally, we concluded that uh, we don't have any problem with the suspended particles, and we don't have any problem with the colloidal particles. Even if it is present in water, assume that these two, if they are present in water, then there are n number of treatment techniques are available. Treatment techniques are available. That we'll discuss later. What are those techniques? But for dissolved particles also, they are there, but they are not up to the mark. In today's world, we are facing the challenges um, with respect to this dissolved particles. The reason behind is that once it is dissolved, you cannot see it through that, cannot see it through your open eyes. That is one biggest problem. Sometimes even some of the pesticides like endosulfan, you won't get smell also if it is dissolved in water. When it is going to affect our body, then only we'll come to know that it's a problem with respect to the dissolved particles. Always we have to think, and the uh, and we have to develop some of the technologies that really take care of the dissolved solids. So then, what exactly that water treatment process is? It is the process of removing the contaminants from the wastewater as well as the households water, or any of the surface water body. We can say it is surface water body, or it is groundwater the body. The why he has used the wastewater is that nowadays the trend has been started. He has used the contaminant from the wastewater, and in most of the countries, um, they are um, trying to the extent of a level of drinking water. So whatever the wastewater, they are converting up to the level of drinking water. See, gray water treatment is one technology, that is gray water. Gray water in the sense the wastewater which is releasing from the kitchens and bathrooms. It is from kitchens and bathrooms. It is not that much contaminated compared with your toilets. So normally the sewage which is the wastewater which is coming from the latrines, it is more contaminated and it includes more pathogens and all those things. But compared to kitchen and bathrooms, um, this wastewater, grey water is nothing but the grey water reuse concept has been started from long days. Even in India, many peoples are implementing. In some of the Bombay like metropolitan cities, the reuse of grey water and the techniques they have already developed. So we should be able to um, um, develop such a technologies that whatever the grey water, we should be able to reuse it properly, even to the extent of level of the drinking water. So then, what contaminants it will be there in uh, the water or the wastewater? Normally, physical, chemical, and biological uh, contaminants will be there. That if you, we will discuss which are those contaminants, physical, chemical, and biological, um, to remove the physical, chemical, and biological contaminants, to remove the um, either suspended, dissolved, or colloidal solids. I already said in the previous class that your suspended colloidal dissolved, it may consist of organic as well as inorganic particles. So organic means I already said that it always consists of carbon atoms in their structure. Inorganic means it does not contain any carbon atom in their structure. So if you want to remove all these suspended, colloidal, dissolved, as well as organic and inorganic solids, so we have to go with some of the treatment technologies, that is physical treatment, chemical treatment, and biological treatment. So if you want to remove the physical contaminants, physical, for example, I'll give you one example. Physical means you can say odor, or you can see from your eyes solids, some of the solids. If odor is there, so that you can smell and all those things, that is a physical contaminant. Even if it is giving the smell, also you cannot drink the water. So water should be free from any of the smell. That's main one um, protocol, all the standards we have to maintain for the drinking water quality. So water is one physical contaminant. So if you want to remove the odor from the water, so then you have to go with that physical treatment technique only. So many are there, we'll discuss one by one. If any chemical are there, for example, if any pesticide is there, assume that if any pesticide is there, then how to remove this pesticide? Then we have to go with chemical treatment only. We have to go with chemical chemical treatment only. Then biological contaminants. Then what? Which are the biological? I already said pathogens. Pathogens. If pathogens are there, we have to conduct one test called MPN test. So in this MPN test, we'll get how many pathogens are there. How many pathogens are there? We will get it. If pathogens are there, what we'll get? We will get in MPN test, we will get the how many pathogens are there. So this is one biological contaminant. Then if you want to remove these pathogens, we have to go with the biological treatment. Biological, we have to go with biological treatment process. So we'll discuss which are the physical, which are the chemicals, and which are the just I'm giving one example. Even physical, for example, temperature is one parameter. That is also water quality parameter. If more temperature is there, it is not good for health. For example, if it is 70, 80 degree, you are not supposed to drink it because it directly linked with the dissolved oxygen. I already said temperature is always inversely proportional to the temperature. If the temperatures go on increasing, normally the DO will decrease. So like the temperature is also one physical parameter. Then how to reduce it? So again, it has its own techniques are there to reduce the temperature. Or some of the dilution techniques are there. We'll discuss that. So then, what exactly the motive behind this water treatment process? So then the main objective of this water treatment process is to produce an environmentally safe fluid, um, safe water, and make it, for example, if any waste is generating during the treatment process, that has to be disposed in a safer way. Normally during water treatment process, what will happen is that some of the sludge is going to generate at the end. How exactly? How exactly? How exactly this can be removed? For example, what will happen is that during during the water treatment process, if any solids are there, assume that if any solids are there, then we have to remove the solids. Once you remove the solids, so it will be solids will be disposed. Means what, it has to be removed and it has to be disposed in a safer way. So this is also one objective of our water treatment process. So during the water treatment process, if any solids or if any sludge, if it is going to generate during the treatment process, even that has to be disposed safely. That is also one of the objective. One objective is to treat it with a make it wholesome water. Then, if any waste is generating during the treatment process, it has to be disposed properly. Then, which are the important mm, um, things we have to discuss in the water treatment process, and which are the units of units of water treatment process? Units of water treatment units of water, starting with the screening. Then we have units called aeration. So we have flocculation, followed by coagulation, then sedimentation, then filtration, disinfection, and softening. So these are all the water treatment units only. So it has to start with the screening, and it has to end with the softening. So we already discussed some of the initial flowchart of the water treatment process, starting from the source. It will be there, then jack well, then it will be WTP, water treatment plant. Then you have after that you have distribution network. So now this jack well and source we will discuss after this. First we'll discuss the water treatment plant. So then, how this water treatment plant units? I already said that these are the units of the water treatment plant. Then how we have decided? These are the common normally. Uh, if any normally uh, on an average, some contaminants always it will be present in the water. So based on that, these are the minimum units you have to provide it. But still, better first you have to check the source water quality. So water testing has to be done prior to designing any of the water treatment plant. So I can say these are the minimum water treatment plant, but still I can skip some of the treatment units here. If, for example, if iron is not there, I'll tell you. If more iron, if it is usually the iron standard, iron, Fe is nothing but iron. So if iron, if it is uh, below uh, zero point 0.3 milligram per liter. See, for standard IS standard, as for the IS code 10500 and 2012, the permissible limit for iron, that is 0.3 milligram per liter. That is 0.3 milligram per liter. Suppose if it is 0.2 milligram per liter, then no need to provide most of the time aeration facility. Even the smell is not there. If odor is not there, then skip this aeration process. If normally this aeration process is used to remove iron, manganese, and some of the um, odor, if smell is there, that can be removed in aeration process. But if they are not there, then it is better to skip that unit. So if assume that no solids are there, like we have discussed suspended and colloidal solids. If it is completely clear, if we are using the groundwater source, if it is if no solids are there, suspended and colloidal solids, if they are not there, then you can skip the screening units. So like that, it is better to check the quality of the source first before deciding any of the water treatment facility. But these are common As usual, if any of the surface water, if you are going with, you have to go with screening, you have to go with aeration, you have to go with flocculation with coagulation, you have to go with sedimentation, and you have to go with filtration process, and you have to go with disinfection as well as the softening process. Then we'll go ahead with the one by one. What are those screenings and screening units and all those things? So then, if it is more turbid water, so if it is more turbid water, assume that if the water, if you are pumping during the rainy season, rainy season, if you see surface water quality of the rivers, normally it will be more turbid. Then what kind of treatment facility I have to provide it? So then I have to take it from the water intake as well as the source. At Jackwell, I already said that. Then screening is required. Then a pre-sedimentation is required. We'll see that how exactly the flow has to go on. Then coagulation, flocculation is required. Settling tank is required. Filtration is required, and disinfection is required if it is turbid water. See, normally in screening, what exactly we will remove some of the suspended as well as big particles. In coagulation, we will remove the only colloidal particles. I'll tell you what are those colloidal particles and all those things. I already explained that these are colloidal particles are nothing but these are all charged particles. So normally, if you see any particles, so normally positive and negative charges will be there. For example, if you two particles are there on positive and negative, it will be there. So then, what we have to do that these are always in movement. For example, if you take any jar, uh, some positive will be there, some negative will be there, positive will be there, negative will be there. Always, these will move in the jar. These so colloidal particles because they are charged particles. Always, uh, movement will be there. These particles will not settle here on the at the bottom of the jar. At the bottom of the jar, these particles will not settle. But we have to make it settle. How to make it settle? Whatever the charges are there, positive charges, negative charges are there, you have to make it neutral. You have to make it neutral. What you have to do is that you have to make it neutral, or you have to decrease the charge, or you have to completely destabilize the charges. Means you have to completely remove that charges. Once these charges are removed, automatically the particles will settle at the bottom. If the charges are there, if the particles is having the charges, then automatically the movement will be there, no settlement. Then you have to make it settle. Then how to make it settle? You have to destabilize it, or you have to um, reduce the charge. Then how to reduce the charge? Then you have to add some external agent to this. You have to add some external agent, that is nothing but coagulant. If you add the coagulant, definitely it is going to react with all these particles. Then within a half an hour, all these particles will be settled. Then we have one systematic method is there to um, remove the colloidal particles from the tanks. So that we have to follow strictly. But at present now, as an introduction class, you just understand that coagulation is the process to remove the colloidal solids. Then settling tank, normally it has to come before the um, coagulation process. In the settling tanks, I already said that if any sand particle is there, then how to remove it. The sand particle will be removed with the help of the settling tank under the influence of gravity. Simply, no need to add of any external reagents. So only with the help of the gravity or the concept of gravity, all these particles are going to settle. Then turbidity, TSS and floc removal. Most of the time, what will happen is that sometimes some of the solids will escape from coagulation as well as from the settling tank or sedimentation process. then that particles will be removed with the help of the filtration process. We'll see that. Then what is the disinfection? In above all the process, we will not remove any pathogens. We already discussed some biological contaminants, pathogens. That pathogens we are going to remove in the disinfection process. It is killing of pathogens has been done in disinfection process. Then this is a typical um, process flow sheet of water surface water treatment process. Just you can see that maybe the um, uh, characteristics are not visible properly, but still you can see that this is what your surface water source. Then these are the intake screens will be there here. Then a pump will be, so that you have to lift the pump to an this is completely about the water treatment process. From here to here it will be completely water treatment process. Here the pump will be installed so that it has to lift it to a water treatment plant. Why the pump is installed? Normally your river water will be at always at the lower location. Always the rivers will be at the downstream and the villages will be at the upstream. Then how the water has to be taken to the water treatment plant? So then what you have to do is that you have to lift the water from source to the water treatment plant. So then here you have the coagulants is there. Here you have the sedimentation is there, filtration is there. These are all we will discuss in detail. Then it has to be provided with the distribution system here. So this is a typical uh, water treatment facility, normally for surface water treatment. If it is groundwater treatment, you can skip some of the units here. Here you have flocculation is there, here your sedimentation is there, here you have filtration is there. So you can skip some of the things. So then as we already discussed that we have two types of water treatment facilities there. One is conventional surface water treatment facility and one more is advanced water treatment facility. One is conventional and one more is advanced. See, the conventional water treatment facility, it is only um, remove like suspended and we have colloidal. Some portion like 20 to 30% we can remove dissolved solids also. But the advanced treatment facility, it is completely, it is related to if any pesticides are there. If any pesticides are there, then we will apply the advanced water treatment facility, because whatever we discussed till now, that is we have listed here some of the water treatment facilities: screening, aeration, flocculation, sedimentation, filtration and disinfection, softening. In this process, just you take it as conventional water treatment facility only. In this process, we will not remove any of the pesticides. So if any pesticide is present in the water, then we have to go ahead with the water treatment facility only. So always initially we go ahead with the conventional water treatment facility. Then end of the disinfection process, end of the last unit of the water treatment facility, then you check the water quality. Check the water quality after the end of the last unit of water. Then check it out whether the pesticides are exist or not. Normally what will happen is that at the initial stages, if any surface water, assume that if surface water consists of pesticides at the starting only, in conventional water treatment process you will not remove that. You will get the stresses at the end of the surface water unit only. So of course the screening it will remove. You always have to remember advanced treatment facility, it is only for the pesticides. There we have some advanced oxidation processes are there. Normally we'll apply some of the processes like AOPs. So advanced oxidation processes are completely designed for the removal some of the pesticides. So then this conventional water treatment facility, that is screening, it is remove relatively large floating and suspended debris. And of course the rapid mix units, normally we can call it as the flocculation unit. This we can call it as the flocculation unit. Flocculation unit, that is coagulant process. So mixing of water with the chemicals that encourage the suspended solids to coagulate and large particles that will settle easily. I already explained that concept, how exactly the colloidal solids can be removed. So then rapid mix unit is used for, especially for the removal of colloidal particles. And flocculation unit, um, this is also one unit. Again, if you go in detail about the colloidal solids, there also we have some of the classification is based on the charge of the particles. So very less charge, more charged particles, two classifications are there. So rapid mix, it is required where the charge of the particles are more. Then flocculation is a process, simple process, that is uh, required to remove the very light particles, light charge particles. So then sedimentation process. So it is, of course, I already mentioned that it is a process under the gravity. Then sludge processing. I already said that during the water treatment process, if any sludge is going to be exist, or if it is going to come out during the treatment process, so then sludge processing has to be done. So then the disinfection unit to remove the pathogens. So then, of course, it is distribution with protection. So that is the residual disinfection. This residual disinfection is nothing but normally what will happen is that, so you are going to treat the water, WTP, in the water treatment plant. You have one, I already explained that disinfection unit. Disinfection unit is there. Here you are going to remove the pathogens. So you'll, what will do is that you will make it free from pathogens in this unit, disinfection unit. But again, the water will go to, uh, it has to be supplied after a disinfection unit. It has to be supplied to the consumers. It has to be supplied to the consumers. See, what will happen is that during the supplying the water to the consumers, if any leakage is there, leakage, if it is there in the distribution network, assuming that the sewer water is mixing with the water, drinking water in the distribution network. The sewer water will be normally, if you see any of uh, the road or distribution network, normally at the center of the road you have the manholes will be there and drainages will be there, and the other side you have if this is the road, in the other side, assuming that this is the road boundary, at one side you have always they will keep the drinking water line or domestic water line. Then on the middle, normally it will be sewer line, and at the other it will be storm waters. Storm waters, most of the time storm waters will be, drainages will be on both the sides. Most of, then below that they will lay this um, uh, with a pipe network, water supply line. Storm water drainage will be on both the sides. Here also it will be there. There is other side also. You can see the storm water drains, and on the other side, your drinking water line, and the other side the what you can call the street lights, street uh, the electrical poles. You can call it as electrical poles. So of course, these are designed based on the convenience, how exactly. But normally, on one side the water pipeline will be there. I sometimes it will be middle, or the other side the sewer lines will be there based on the convenience of the space available. What will happen is that sometimes if any leakage found in the sewer lines, and here if here also if a leakage is there, assume that here also in the drinking water pipeline also leakage is there, and the sewer lines also leakage is there, then it will come out from the sewer line, the wastewater will come out, and of course definitely it will come and it will join to the drinking water pipeline. So if that is happening, most of the time it will not happen, but sometimes uh, it is going to happen as the days of the distribution network, or at the age of the distribution network is go on increasing. After 20 years, these chances are more. Then what you have to do is that you have to keep some residual disinfectant, residual disinfectant, residual disinfectant. So what is this residual disinfectant? Residual disinfectant. So if you add some extra, see in WTP, you'll add some disinfectant to kill the pathogens. Assume that 10 pathogens are there at the drinking water. So you will add some 2 milligram per liter of disinfectant. 2 milligram per liter of disinfectant for to killing the pathogens in the water treatment plant. Then I'll add some 2 point, totally I'll add 2.2 milligram per liter. This 0.2 milligram per liter is extra. This extra we are adding to stop the uh, further contamination in the distribution network. That is, residual disinfectant will be added extra in water treatment plant to stop the further contamination in the distribution network. Suppose if the wastewater joined to a water drinking water line during the distribution network, then it has been contaminated. Then how to stop it? So then it has to be stopped with the help of drinking water, this residual disinfectant only. So that is nothing but residual disinfection. So this is overall about the water treatment facility. So in the next class, we'll start with the um, individual units.